Hey y'all, and welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos. Today we're going to be getting into a really fun video that I have been doing not very consistently, but I've been trying to make a bit of a series here on my channel. It just might take a couple months between each video, but a series where I look back at my Palette Palooza videos from 2020, and in 2020 every single month I was giving you guys Palette Palooza, ranking all the palettes that I tried in the previous month. So basically I thought it'd be fun to go back and revisit those palettes and do a palette bingo using all the palettes that I feature in that video. So in today's video I'm going to be doing a Palette Palooza with all the palettes I tried during the month of April, and I will go ahead and link the original video where I am taking these palettes from, the Palette Palooza that I originally did in, let's see, when was this? May 12th of 2020 is when I posted it. I'll link it down below if you want to watch it. Levi makes an entrance at the end because he must have woken up. I remember filming with him a lot in the beginning because he was my short napper, so usually by the end of it he'd be waking up. But anyway, he makes a little cameo in there, and oh my goodness, he's so tiny, and now that I look at him, he's so big, and it's just crazy how fast time flies. So anyway, yeah, that is what we're going to be doing today, and today we have 6 palettes. First off, we have the Revolution Heartbreaker palette, and also the NettyBird Sibling Rivalry palette. Now I want to mention these two because these are actually decluttered in my last palette decluttering video. However, they were sitting in a box for me to put on my Poshmark and Mercari pages because I did purchase both of these. So when I decluttered them way back when, I was like, okay, set these aside and you can list them on your Poshmark and, you know, sell them that way. And I still haven't. So since I still own them, I was like, hey, I'll pull them out for this video and maybe that'll remind me to actually go ahead and list these, but you know, I still have them, so I'm going to use them in today's video. And then I also reviewed the NettyBird Vitamin C palette, which I did not declutter, so this is still in my collection. Everything else is still in my collection. Those were the only two that I technically decluttered, but I still have in the house, so I'm going to use it for today's video because it just doesn't make sense not to. Anyway, next up is the Warrior 3 palette by Juvia's Place. I'll open them all up when I pick the colors. And then also Menagerie's Pastel Pup palette. This was such a cute palette. My first intro into pastels, if I remember correctly. And then last up, the palette that got #1, I'm sure is no surprise to you, but I couldn't believe it was this month that I had tried and used it for the first time. September Rose Cosmetics Slush palette. I love this palette so very much. You guys know this. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I get to use it again. It was this month that I reviewed it, so it was just really cool looking back at that. But yeah, those are all the palettes. So how many did I say? I know I just said it, but you know me and my memory. 6 palettes, so we're gonna pick one from each of them, and I have to use at least those somewhere on my face, and then I have the liberty, the flexibility to use more if I want to after I've used those colors that I randomly pick out with the random number generator. So with that intro done, let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit closer. We're gonna swatch them out and see what kind of color store we get with all of these palettes. Okay, first palette that I'm going to grab is the Revolution Heartbreaker palette, and this has 9, so let me punch in 9 and generate. We have the number 4, so I'm going to start with this one, number 1. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. This I remember being a very pretty color, a very nice shimmer. All right, it moved around a little bit, but let's go ahead and swatch this out. There we go. Oh yeah, that is really pretty. I remember liking that shadow in it. Okay, let me see. Next color, or next palette, clean off my hand, is the Pastel Pup palette, and opening it up, this is what it looks like in case you are new to it. Oh, and I forgot I had used this in a previous bringing a fake palette to life, so there, I put it back, Cuddles back. But this I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 this way because that's the way the palette is set up. But this has 12, so I'm going to come down here and, oh, can we focus on here? I'm going to do 12 and generate. 6, so we got a green. Oh my goodness, you guys know I'm excited. Super duper excited for this. I'm sorry if my nails look a little rough today. Oop, I forgot to focus this. I hope this is focused. Hang on. I'm sorry about that. I threw my arm up and started swatching without thinking. But my fingers are a little rough today because I just popped my nails off throughout the day, so they need some cleaning up. But anyway, that one is Flipper. Okay, liking this color story so far. Next, I'm going to grab the Warrior 3 palette by Juvia's Place. Here is what it looks like. This has 9 in it, so I'm gonna take away the 12, put a 9, and let's generate. We have the number 9, so that means we're gonna get this palette, or this color right here, because this is one, that's just how we do it. So a blue, that's a pretty color. Gonna remember to focus it this time. Here is the blue. Oof, such a nice bold blue. I remember really enjoying this color as well when I used this palette before. Okay, and then next let's go ahead and do the NettyBird palettes. I'll get the Vitamin C one first, which looks like this if you haven't seen it. And for this I'm going to go 1 and do it that way. So this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15. So I'm going to punch in 15 Let's generate. We have 14. Oh my goodness. Whew, I am very scared with these because these, both of the NettyBird palettes have glitters, but we were right in between the glitters. Very thankful. And let's swatch it right here. It's pretty dry shadow to swatch, but seems okay in pigment. Like I should be able to pack it on and get something. Definitely doesn't swatch great, but it's a red. We'll work with it. We'll see how it works. And then the next palette, as I said, is going to be the NettyBird. This is the Sibling Rivalry palette. And this one also has 15, so this has 3 glitters. Let's see. Let's generate and see. Hopefully 13. Ooh, let's see. 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm very happy I don't have to work with glitter today. Can you tell I'm not a fan of glitter? I mean, glitter's beautiful, but it's just, oh my goodness, such a pain to wear. I don't enjoy it at all. Oh my goodness, that last clip was probably blurry because I forgot to focus back on my face. I'm so sorry. I'm not doing a very good job today. But anyway, there is that shade, which is spoiled. Okay, now that I've remembered to focus back on my face, last up is the Slush palette from September Rose. And if somehow you haven't seen this on my channel, here's what it looks like. I had so much fun with this palette last year. Such a great rainbow palette. And this has a 25, so I'm going to punch in 25. And let's generate. 9, so we got 9. Oh, that'll go nice with the other blue that I have going on. Here we go. Ooh, that's nice. Okay, so this is definitely, I figured it would be a rainbow color story because they're, you know, the palettes were also different and very, you know, colorful and like rainbow-esque in the different colors because I have, you know, green and yellow and orange, and pastel and whatnot, a rainbow pastel, a rainbow palette, and even the warrior is like a smaller rainbow. So this is quite a color story. So let me think about this for a minute. I feel like I can see everything. Everything goes very well except for that red. That red is giving me a little bit of an issue. There's 2 shimmers, the rest matte. Super happy with that. What am I going to do with that red? I think I might just stick the red on my lower lash line. Oh, it just made me look sick. I feel like that always happens. I think we're going to do that. We're just going to put it on the lower lash line. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into this. Okay, so the first one that I want to use is going to be that green Pastel Pup. I think that's going to be a good first placement, which came, as I said, from the Pastel Pup. So I'm going to get a smaller-ish brush. This is the Profusion Small Pointed Eyeshadow ES6. Fantastic. Profusion's eyeshadow brushes that look like this. I have several of them in several different styles. I absolutely love them. They're great, especially their small detail brushes. I absolutely think they're worth every penny and more. I mean, I have a lot of these small brushes from like Sigma and even like more expensive brands, but this little guy was around less than $10 for sure. I think around like 5 or 6. Such a good brush. I cannot rave about them enough. And I've owned them for a while too. So it's not like they fall apart and whatnot or start to just not be as nice as they are brand new, which I feel like e.l.f. eyeshadow brushes, while they're nice, especially for the price, I feel like after a while, they have some really, you know, affordable brushes like $1 or $2, and those are like, after a while. But anyway, these I think are fantastic. We're gonna do that. I feel like I'm a little washed out. Let me fix it after I do this eye. Okay, there we go. Something to say about this palette is like that flipper shadow took me such short work, especially on this side when I wasn't talking and, you know, yammering on and on. It took me such little time to get there, and I do think the lighting is better now, so I toned it down just a touch. Okay, now I'm going to kind of go a little out of order, or it's just gonna look like it's out of order, but I'm going to take a little brush, which this is the Refer 28 brush. It's like a small packer brush, and I'm going to take, which shadow? It was this dark blue one, which came from the Warrior 3 palette right there. I'm gonna pack that on the outer corner, just because I want to use the lighter blue to blend this out, and then I'll connect it up. So I kind of want to place the darker color down first, just to make sure it's the most pigmented and intense. Whew, that is a bright blue. I just placed another Refer order when they had like 40% off their store, and I bought several of the small, more detailed brushes and like this packer brush. This brush really reminds me of the one I love from Stilazzi, except the bristles are a bit softer. And I don't know, is Stilazzi still like in business? I feel like I haven't seen or heard anything from them in ages. But anyway, it really reminds me of a brush that I loved from them before. Okay, again, took 2 seconds to blend that in. I got a chunk of my concealer that dried that I didn't notice until I put eyeshadow over it. Oh well. Okay, so 2 shadows down, super duper easy. Let's go on to blending this out, which is this light blue down here, which that came from this shade right here, the Blue Hawaii from the Slush palette. So for that, I'm going to take this brush, which is this Sigma E25 brush. I have the smaller, I think 35 that I do like as well, but this is in front of me. This will do just fine. And I'm going to use that to blend and buff this out to make it a little bit softer, because I don't want it to be too harsh coming up into here. And it's a good color, like to go along with the blue from the Juvia's place. Who would have thought I like planned that, but that was just randomly chosen for me. I'm very thankful for that. But anyway, as I was saying with the Refer, I just placed an order with a couple brushes, so I've been experimenting around with them. I love trying brushes. I've really been on the hunt to discover more like detail brushes, because I feel like that's really been improving my skill and ability to do eyeshadow a little bit better. And I've been wanting to do a video talking about it, but I do know that, I don't know, eyeshadow brush videos tend to not do very well. They're just, I guess, not really interesting to watch. They're like one of my favorite videos to watch. Anytime someone posts an eye brush video, especially if it's like called, you know, tiny brushes, I'm all about it, because I want to learn more and I want to hear about more of them and which ones are worth it and which ones aren't. But I've done it a couple times about brushes. I'll throw my playlist up here in the corner, but they don't tend to do too well in views, at least right away for sure. I think some of them gain a little traction over the years, but I don't know. I've been toying with it, but I just don't know if that's something you guys are interested in. Or I've also been thinking about like weaving it into a chatty get ready with me type of video where I am, you know, using a palette and whatnot, and we can talk about my favorite brushes or like the biggest dud brushes when it comes to higher end brushes, because that's another thing. Like, I've tried some really expensive brushes that I'm just like, okay, they're expensive, so they're gonna do amazing, and then I get them, I'm like, this is terrible. Like, how did I waste $30 on something that's like as bad as like the dollar brush at the Dollar Tree or something? So I don't know, that might be a good way to kind of talk about brushes in a video, but not make it a whole video dedicated to it, so that, you know, if you're not into maybe you know, talking about eyeshadow brushes, you'll at least be interested in the video, you know, watching an eye look come together, or, you know, hearing about a new palette, that sort of thing. So I might do that. You have to let me know if that would be interesting for you. Okay, this looks neon in my viewfinder. It's so, the blue from the Juvia's place is so bright. But we're 3 down. Let's go ahead and move to the shimmers, which are these 2 greens. This one is from the Lucky palette, and then the dark green is from the NettyBird green palette right here. I'm putting on some glitter primer from NYX because that's what I always do. You have to let me know if you use a glitter primer or anything like that, or if you just use your shimmers as they are, as they come, that sort of thing. I'm just curious. Okay, let's go ahead and start with the darker one, and then I'm going to top the lighter one over, because I feel like the lighter one is a lot more impactful when it comes to the sparkle than the green, so I feel like it'll be able to go over the dark one easy. And that's the dark one we use. I'm pretty sure it was Tomboy. Looks like it, so that's what we're using. And I'm gonna pop it right here in the middle, keeping it pretty low. It's a pretty dark color, but it's got, oof, got some fallout, my bad. But I think it's gonna blend into that blue pretty well. I'm gonna do kind of like a halo eye, I think, or not halo, but like a, I don't even know what you call it, but where you take the lighter color and kind of go over the darker shimmer and do a cut crease type of look, called the Betty Jean technique, because she does it all the time, and that's where I picked up on it. Okay, tons of fallout from that. I guess I was just extra super not careful. But let's just sweep all that away. A teeny bit of blue on this side actually as well, like the bright blue I think from the Juvia's place. But anyway, there is that. Let me clean off the brush. I'm going to use the same one, and we're going to go into the Heartbreaker, which is right there, and I'm going to pop that on the, I guess I could have also saved this for an inner corner highlight, but this is so beautiful. I want it to shine a little bit more than that. So we're going to go like this and use it to kind of give that half cut crease look to this eye look, and that'll also help it kind of define the crease, because I like that definition between the lid shimmers and the mattes in the crease. I like a nice hard line instead of the kind of like subtle all melded together look. I like that. I think that's really pretty. That shimmer is definitely, I remember you know, when I reviewed this, thinking that that was like this highlight, the best shade in this little Heartbreaker palette. It definitely is very pretty. Nothing like super glittery in it, but it's a very pretty sheerish kind of shimmer that you can definitely build up. So I'm gonna just kind of do my usual MO of going back and forth right here until I like the blend, and then I'll do the same for the blue until I like the blend. All right, so we are back and we are here. I definitely like the liner. I feel like it pulls it all together. Liner always grounds a look for me if it's too like bright and pastelish on the outer corner because I like depth. So if I put wing liner, I'm like, okay, I got some depth in there. But anyway, yeah, here is where we're at. So now my face is just full of sparkles. I've just accepted it at this point, but let's go ahead and use that final red and see what this does to the look. Maybe if I keep it really close. I put some black in my waterline from Milani, if you were curious. Let's keep it really close and maybe it won't look so bad. I feel like if I blend it out too much, it'll look just like I have really bad allergies or something. So maybe if I keep it really stark, it'll look like it's on purpose. That's my thinking. So that doesn't look terrible. I might just do that. This is a little Smashbox brush. I really like Smashbox brushes as well. They're definitely more expensive. Though, I mean, I used a rougher brush. I feel like roughers are expensive too. I think Smashbox is like, their eyeshadow brushes are around the $20 mark. I forget. Anyway, I like this little brush. It's the Smoky Shadow Brush. Really good for outer corner or lower lash line. Okay, so it doesn't look terrible, I think. I'm gonna go in though and just do a little something else, which I'm going to use the light blue that I used on top from the Slush palette, the blue Hawaii right there, or Hawaiian. And I'm going to try to buff it out. We'll see if I regret it, but I feel like it should, you know, red and blue. Should mix together okay. Maybe add too much depth though, I don't know. Because I don't think green is gonna look very good. I don't know, I'm just gonna do some blue up in here. Just because I feel like if I have that red so close and just so stark, it just looks a little off to me. Yeah, I think it's taken it a little too deep. I was hoping to create like a more lighter purple, mixing these two together, but it's just almost deepening the red for whatever reason and making like a dark red purple instead of like a lighter lavender color. Okay, that looks terrible. We're gonna stop and just use this to buff it out, which is the brush I used for the setting powder. I don't like the lower lash line. Oh well. Okay, so I think I decided for my inner corner, I want to use a Snowball from in the Pastel Pup palette because that was really a very pretty shadow. It's flaky, I remember, so I'm going to go in lightly and just pop this in. But oh, what a perfect color for this look because we got so much blue going on anyway. That is shifty blue white shadow is going to be perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, there we are. I think that is going to be it. I'm going to just admit defeat on my lower lashes, or not my lower lashes, but like on my under eyes because they're just covered in darkness. I've already admitted defeat on my lower lash line. That blue was a mistake because it definitely deepened it a lot, which, I mean, I guess it makes sense, blue and red together, but I was hoping the lightness from the blue would lighten the red up a little bit, but it didn't. It just deepened it up and just accentuated my dark circles, so that just really looks great. Oh well, let me put on some mascara and maybe it'll look a little bit better. Retouch my lip gloss, which is Juvia's Place Sissy, and then I'll zoom out and I just almost poked my eyeball out. I didn't touch it, but oh my goodness, I stuck it right in there. Okay, let me go ahead and do this and then I will close out this video before I lose an eyeball. Okay, so I am back. This is the finished look. We made it. As I said, I'm not in love with this look. I feel like the top is definitely, I really like it. It could have come from just one solid palette. That's how cohesive it looked. But then the lower lash line was just a terrible choice. It looked like I gave up on trying to conceal my dark circles. That was a mistake. Not the red. I shouldn't say the red was a mistake. I think the red would have been fine if I just put it on and left it alone. But the choice to put the blue on the inner corner, like, I just feel like I have a major dark circle here, even though I know it's not, that's not where my dark circle usually is. It's more inward, but anyway, it's there because of the blue I added. I'm very upset at myself, but it is what it is. That's fine. It's going to wash off at the end of the day. So I'll stick close-ups here so you guys can see. Per usual, I always like to do that so you guys can get a really up-close look. But yeah, the top of my lid looks, I love it. Like, I love that mix of blue and green. It's really pretty. All the colors, you know, worked really well together. They blended beautifully together. Had no issues there. And the pigmentation on them, man, like, I understand why these palettes were so high in my countdown. Because I think Slush was #1, Pastel Pup was #2, and then the third was the Juvia's Place Warrior 3 palette, which that that was the, you know, the pastel green and the blues that I used, and those all just were so effortless and beautiful in the blending. So I'm kind of glad that I got the higher end, the ones that I ranked higher end, to have to work with the mattes in those palettes, because the mattes in those palettes are fantastic, and then the, you know, the shimmers worked fine in the other palettes. So overall, very happy with the top half of my eyelid. The lash line, let's just pretend it doesn't exist, and then I'm happy. But anyway, that is going to do it for me for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing what kind of look I could come up with using 6 different palettes. Where is one? I'm only holding 5 here. Oh, under my phone. 6 different palettes. Let's go ahead and make sure I have the correct number before I hold it up. But yeah, 6 different palettes that I originally reviewed in, what I say, April of 2020. So it has been a very long time, but it's always fun. I love these videos. I don't know if you guys are as interested in them because, you know, unless you have all these palettes, it's not like you can exactly create the look. So I don't know how realistic and helpful these videos are, but I enjoy it because I get to kind of go back to older palettes, and we can all remember older palettes that, you know, came out a while ago, like the Warrior 3 palette and the Slush palette, that are just oh so good, but we often forget because there's just so many new palettes coming out all the time. So that's why I really do love doing this type of video, and I hope you guys enjoy it as well. But yeah, that is going to do it for today's video, trying all of these palettes again. It was so much fun, and let me know if you guys enjoyed this type of video as well. Like I said, I was trying to make it a series to do like every month, and at this point I think I do it about every 2 months. But if I hear you guys really do enjoy it, I'll try to schedule it in a little bit more consistently to be about every month. But let me know what you guys think of this video. And per usual, I always like to hear how you guys would have used the colors. So here, once again, I'll go ahead and hold it up. These were the colors that I chose and picked out from all of these palettes. They're a little worn off because I've been moving around, but let me know how you would have used it, especially that red. Let me know where you would have put the red with this look, because I'm not happy where I put the red. But anyway, let me know what you would have done in my place. And yeah, with all that said, that is going to do it for me. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye, guys.